like I said before, like I said for a while, this is going to be a very monumental FIFA Women's World Cup. And so far, as you look at the group stage games, a lot of people are shocked of the results, especially of, a lot of the first world nations that usually dominate FIFA Women's World Cup. Teams like USA, Germany, Norway, these teams are struggling. Like a lot of the results have not been straightforward. England, I remember somebody that I know somebody personally that was talking to me when England and Haiti played against each other for the first game. I was trying to tell people that game is going to be closer than you think. I was predicting, I'm like, yeah, I can see England winning this game, but I'm like, I don't think it's going to be more than 1-0. I'm thinking 1-1, 2-1. Me personally, I thought 1-1. I thought Haiti could score, was going to shock the world that day, but they technically did by only losing 1-0, bit of a fluke penalty, but it is what it is. But I think, yeah, it was a penalty. And then the Haitian goalkeeper saved it. But because her feet were across the line, they decided to say, nope, you got to retake the penalty. And she didn't really try to save the next one because I believe the ref was on some BS on there. But that's a whole other story. But if you see how the point of me pointing out this World Cup and me putting this on this page and not on my sports page that I just started, recently a lot of the first world nations, in terms of the female soccer players, have been asking for equal pay. The U.S. women's soccer team basically putting the U.S. men's soccer team on child support, figuratively speaking. Basically able to take money from them, even though it's literally like the U.S. men's team is paying the U.S. women's team child support, and they can just take the money, however successful that the U.S. men's team gets to be. And I already made a video about on my Instagram why the U.S. women were able to pull it off with the men, and it's actually the men's fault. It's our fault. But I made a whole other video about that. I already made a whole other video about that. I don't know. I'll put that description in the box, and actually why the U.S. women were able to get away with what they got away with. Me personally, when it comes to the whole equal pay thing, especially with the WNBA is never going to be able to pull it off. As long as there's players like LeBron James, where it's just like the physical dominance is just so clear to see. As long as there's players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? As long as there's players like that, it's not going to happen. The physical evidence sometimes is the physical evidence. I know people say women can get away with stuff without no evidence, but when physically the evidence is just what is right in your face is and then conversely with the WNBA players, them not being able to dunk. This is why I say I don't like this whole thing about the NBA turning into a 3-point shooting contest. I don't like that. You saw that video recently where they asked, will Steph Curry or that girl be able to win in the 3-point shooting contest? You had dudes picking the woman, the female player. Now, what? Now, what? This is why it's not that I don't like Steph Curry, but I just see that this era that is ushering in it. When you see all these players just doing all these threes, me personally, I think women see that and they think I can do that. That's all. Whether it's right or wrong, that's what I believe. So now, what female player can come and say, "Oh, which female player finna win a dunk contest?" Even against a D League player, what? Can that conversation doesn't even exist. This is why I say the more European style you keep trying to put this thing in, the more they think that we can do. They really, because they're looking at the 3-point contest. I don't know what's the distance between the rims and whatnot. They're literally looking at her, the female basketball player that can shoot threes, and they're just like, oh, I think he could give Steph Curry. She could give Steph Curry a run for his money. They really believe that. But if to the normies, it might make sense because it's just shooting, right? It's the same. I think it's the same distance. I don't know. I don't think it's the same distance. I'm not sure. I don't really follow basketball like that. But to the normies, because they were asking people on the street, they're like, oh, a lot of them picked the female player over Steph Curry, the best shooter of all time, right? But that's why I keep saying, this whole pick and pop European style, I think it's gonna long-term effects. I'm just saying, when the female players look at Giannis, LeBron, Shaq, these dudes, all right, the ones that y'all be hating on so bad, these so-called basketball purists, the female basketball players, they're gonna use that shit against you. They're gonna use that hating shit against you. Never mind. Let me go back to the because it'd be a lot of those basketball purists. LeBron is like I love Carcino, but that whole thing about LeBron not even being top 100, come on, man. But that hating stuff is gonna catch up to y'all. That hating stuff gonna catch up to y'all. Anyway, let's go back to the FIFA Women's World Cup. My point is to bring up the arrogance of the female soccer players in those first world countries, where basically they use their success over countries where, like, I still remember a time where basically they would be piling on these countries that barely had a female team, and they couldn't even. It's not like they couldn't find female players to play. It's just like you're playing countries where females weren't even like they don't even have no money coming into their program at that time. Some of the countries they would pile up on, USA would pile up on. It's not that they were really even better technically. They were just physically, just more developed, physically, like like height wise, body mass wise. If you look at USA versus Vietnam now in the first game, it's just that the size difference is crazy. So you're looking at that technically wise, they're piling up on countries where women aren't even allowed to play. But now things are different now. I really started noticing that shift in development in female players around the world, not just in US. I'm talking about female players in European countries, African countries, South American countries around 2013, 2014. I really started seeing the professional clubs, right? The male professional clubs, they really started putting money into the female soccer teams. There's a lot of really big soccer teams that finally established a female team for the first time in like their history. And, you know, that was a big deal. You know, that's what kept the ball rolling. And now you got these, like I said, if you watched Haiti versus England, it's not like just in a few years of improvement of the Hades women, of just putting a little bit of money in their program, it's almost even. There was no discrepancy. Haiti defended well against England. They really couldn't do anything. They just got that fluke. The penalty was a fluke. They didn't really do nothing versus Haiti. Haiti defended against them well, and they had like two chances. Haiti had two chances up top. They just lacked ruthlessness and really belief in themselves that they could beat England. And it still was like the game could have easily ended 0-0. Easily, if you watch the game, right? And shout out to the Jamaican national team. They're showing just what they had a crowd fund their own self to go to the World Cup, and look how they're matching up with the so-called first world countries like France. You know what I mean? Like look how there's really no big discrepancy in skill, right? So all that talk about, oh, we're better than the men and we do, is really you were just piling up on teams that weren't really having money being put behind them, or where you're facing countries where women weren't even allowed to play. That's why you see how like people are so shocked that Canada's already knocked out, Germany's already knocked out. You know, people wanted to lift up Canada like this, and I'm like, it's gonna. Like I said, this World Cup. I said even in the last World Cup, I said I think this is gonna be the last World Cup where the USA, the female USA soccer team are gonna dominate, because I'm looking at these countries. I'm watching the highlights of the club teams, the newly formed female club teams, how they're recruiting, how they're developing in other countries. I'm like, bro, I was looking at the Brazilian girls, like the Brazilian girls that be playing. They can play, bro. They can play. Like they're playing futsal. Like I'm talking about way better than the Americans. We have futsal programs in America, but I'm just saying skill wise, what we have in America, basically our strength is not really necessarily our skill. It's basically just it's basically our athleticness amongst the females, and that's because there are so many like sports opportunities for females in America compared to other countries. So we were able to physically dominate a lot of these World Cups, like almost like how Germany would dominate men's football a lot of the times with their physicality and their endurance. Very similar histories in that instance. You know, not saying the Germans were never technical. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, when you talk about what's their strength, the U.S. women's national team, their strength is in their size, their speed, their athletic ability compared to their counterparts, because you have females here that have played multiple sports, you know, like just athletically developed. You look at Abby Wambach, you look at Horan, whatever. I'm not sure what team she plays for. I think she plays in France, if I'm not mistaken. I've never seen her play professionally. But you look at her compared to her, she's huge compared to her center midfielder counterparts. She's just a big person, even though like I'm saying, like 5'9" is big for a girl, for a woman. And she's like stoutly built. She's like, she stands out. Just physically, she stands out. That's our strength. But now, in the other countries, they focus basically on technicality. So you see how like the Netherlands is just technically out, just technically just better than us. But we still have the size, strength, speed, and the power on our side, right? And basically experience of, like soccer is the most popular sport amongst females in America and compared to the world, and the opportunities are just so grand. So we're always going to be in the running. Any first world countries where feminism is like very high or very rampant, where women have a lot of like rights, their soccer program is going to be more advanced than most. But now everybody's catching up. It's not going to be no domination no more. like I said, I hope they enjoyed that domination. It ain't gonna be no dominating no more, man. And this whole thing about equal pay and all this stuff, which is an abomination to have this conversation anyways, but it's interesting to see Germany and Canada knocked out and to see USA struggling. It's interesting because really it just shows you that it wasn't even really about them being so much better. It's just it's just the other countries didn't even really have like their female teams didn't even really have financial backing like that. And there's no way those like countries like Brazil, there's no way those Brazilian female soccer players are going to get the same money as the male Brazilian soccer players. It's not going to happen. So you just got to have to rely with what you got, your skills, and the Brazilian players are very skilled, and it's gonna show. It's going to show eventually. I think because I'm looking at the USA's path. The USA has struggled in the group stage, but they can still, if they beat Sweden, they have to beat Sweden though, obviously because it's the knockout stage. Because once they beat Sweden, they're gonna face either Japan or Norway, and they can. I think that's gonna be those are easier opponents than Sweden, right? In my opinion, because I believe Sweden and USA is evenly matched. That game could go either way, so that's gonna be a very close game. I could see that game going to penalties. USA versus Sweden. Hopefully that doesn't take a whole lot out of the American women. But if they face Japan or Norway, I think they can beat either whoever wins. And especially if Japan advances, Japan will give them USA a run for the money. It's going to be another rematch. Again, I think the third rematch. Jesus Christ. So with that match, I think USA will win. It will be a lot more comfortable win to beat Japan. Like it's a better option to play Japan rather than Norway. And I think Japan will beat Norway. So like if that goes to plan, America could still find himself in the semifinals. Now I gotta relook at the bracket. I'm gonna share the bracket with you. I just gotta see something real quick. So you see the bracket right here. So me personally, I think America will still make it to the semifinals. I think they're gonna lose. I don't know who they're gonna face potentially in the semifinals. I gotta look at it. Oh, okay. So they have the potential to face either Netherlands or Spain in the semis. So that's why I believe USA will lose in the semifinals, and I think that is going to be the best result that they will have in a long time, because this World Cup is USA's last chance to win a World Cup, or it's going to be similar to where Brazil, you know how Brazil has been waiting for their World Cup since 2002. You know what I mean? I think America is going to go into a drought if they do not take advantage of this opportunity right now. Because this is their last chance to win a World Cup. This is their last chance. I believe this. The teams are getting better. If you're watching, it's the gap. There's no gap. If you here's where America has a big problem right now. I'm gonna switch it back to me. Here's where America has a big problem right now. If you've been paying attention, there's this team that you need to pay attention. That they didn't make the if I'm not mistaken, they didn't make the playoffs. But there's this team that I hope you paid attention to, the Philippines. They had a couple of black players on that team. Okay, black fathers, all of them, Asian mom, right? Filipino mom. If this passport bro thing, because this passport bro thing's been going on for a while, we just have a term for it now. There was a couple of black players on that team, on that Filipino team. They could have been easily on the USA team. I'm talking about the players on the black players on the Philippines teams. They could have easily played for the USA. They've won college. They played soccer in America their whole life, went to college, won awards. One of them was a champion. Guys, this is not good in the future. In the future, you're going to see more players that played in America opting to play for other countries. This is going to take a lot of our good talents because a lot of them are going to have American fathers but different nationality mom, and they're going to go with their mom's nationality. I need you guys to pay attention to that Philippines team. I want you to do your research on especially the players that made the contributions too, that scored. Guys, this is not good because Philippines was matching up with teams where if you look at the men's Filipino national team, they ain't never going to go nowhere. But you're looking at the Philippines national team, the women's national team, they were matching up like the way that they're matching up. They're going to be a problem in the future, especially if this passport thing is because the older passport bros, what they would do is they would marry the Filipino girl and then bring the Filipino girl here to America. But the girls are still opting to play for the Philippines instead of America. This is going to be a problem in the future. We're going to lose a lot of good athletes, I think male and female, but definitely a lot of female athletes. We're going to lose to Japan, the Philippines, China. You're going to see a lot of half breeds walking around, kicking us in the gut. What other country that Colombia? No, I'm playing. Colombia, they don't need a passport, bros. But I'm just saying, it's going to be a lot of American men, especially American black men, that are going to be procreating outside, and these are our best athletes. We're losing our best athletes for America. This is going to be a problem in the future. I'm telling you this right now. This is going to be a problem in the future. If you watch the Philippines soccer team and you see the female black players, the American black players that were playing for that team, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. I'm telling you this right now. I don't want nobody to say I didn't say anything about this, but you guys got to pay attention to that. You guys got to pay attention. So yeah, let's go back to the brackets. I'm going to make some predictions. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. So we got Colombia versus Jamaica. Caicedo, the way she's looking, the way she's playing, she's looking like the best player in the world right now, if I'm being honest. So, I'm rooting for Jamaica to go through. Jamaica easily has a chance to make a good run. England can easily lose to Nigeria in the first round. This is this when you talk about parity, this is real parity right here. Morocco can beat France and end up in the quarterfinals. See Australia, Denmark. I'm basically going to be rooting against like teams like Australia, USA, Sweden, Norway, Netherlands. You know what I mean? But let's see what we got here. I think Spain will beat Switzerland. I think Netherlands will beat South Africa. I think Spain will beat Netherlands. I think Spain and USA will meet in the semifinals, and I think Spain will beat USA. And we will see Spain in the finals. An only other outcome I could see is I could see Switzerland beating Spain though. I could easily see Switzerland beating Spain, but if that's the case, that means it's going to be Netherlands in the finals. If that's the case, then it's going to be Netherlands in the finals. So, that's going to be Netherlands in the finals because I don't think USA is making it past the semifinals. I do not believe they're going to go to the finals. But this is their best. This is America's last chance to win a World Cup. I'm talking about after 2023. After this one, it's going to be like 20 years. Like it's going to be like we're going to be in our 40s. I'm going to be in my 40s and 50s. So I'm going to be like, damn. It's been a while since USA won a World Cup. USA Women's won a World Cup. That's what's going to happen. They're going to face a drought because the talent is well dispersed. It's evened out. So let's look at who will make the other bracket. So I believe Denmark will beat Australia because they said that Sam Kerr's going to play, but I don't know. I don't think it'll make much of a difference. France will beat Morocco. I think so. That's going to be a good match. So it's France versus Denmark who would win. I'm going to go with France semifinals. I think England's going to get knocked out early. I could be wrong, but I think England's gonna get knocked out early. Colombia. These are gonna be the games of the games to watch. England versus Nigeria and Colombia versus Jamaica. Those are the games to watch, man. These are definitely the games to watch. Because Canada was shocked that Nigeria tied to them. They were just shocked. I was just like, the talent The talent is not. They act like there's just this big discrepancy, and they're like some dominators, but it's not like that. So it's time for me to make some tough decisions. If it ends up being England versus Jamaica in the quarterfinals, England's gonna win. Nigeria. I got Colombia. I'm gonna stick with Colombia. It's gonna be Colombia. I think we will have France. I think France versus Spain in the finals. That's what's gonna happen. I think so. It's looking that way. It's crazy though. No Brazil. It's crazy. That group was crazy. It was like Jamaica, Brazil, France, and who else in that group? I forgot. And Paraguay, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. Wow, man. It's crazy. Hey, was Marta talking crazy after or before that game? I don't remember. But man, let's see, man. I think it's gonna be a France versus Spain final. If not that, I guess the dark horse to watch out. I guess the team to watch out for in this tournament to make a run is gonna be either Switzerland or Nigeria. I think Jamaica, they made a good run. I would like for them to. I'm gonna be rooting for Jamaica to go far, but we'll see. We'll see. Colombia got the best player in the world, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. Caicedo, she's what, like 18, 19 years old or something. She's the best player in the world, bro. She's the best female player in the world. Look, man, my eyes. I'm just watching my eyes. Hey, man, look. You can't, man. On the men's side, when I say Mbappe is the best player in the world, it's not even me being. I'm literally watching, and I'm like, this is what I see. Mbappe is the best player in the world. Take it or leave it. And it's these are just facts. These are just facts, man. After I saw that Champions League game in 2021 or 2022. 2022. Yeah, it was in 2022. And I saw Mbappe face Real Madrid. And it was like, no, I'm watching. And they have no answers for Madrid that day. This is the first leg. It was like the first round of the Champions League. And Mbappe just came through, worked something out of nothing. And after watching that, I'm like, Mbappe's the best player in the world. It's not, and I'm literally like, it's him. He's that guy. And it has not changed since. I know people want to say Messi, but I know what I'm watching, man. I know what I'm watching. People are taking the World Cup and as the proof that he's the best player in the world right now. And I'm like, no. Mbappe's, first of all, with what Mbappe he carried that team to the final. And I don't know how the normies can't see it. Right now, people are falling for this hate campaign against Mbappe. But I'm literally watching, first of all, when you look at half of France's starting 11 before the World Cup even started, outdoor towards injury. Lloris was not supposed to be the starting keeper. It was going to be Magnan. He got injured. No Kipembe. He got injured. No Benzema. I think he got injured. No Nkunku, which was vital. He got injured. Lucas Hernandez got injured in the first match. And a lot of players that they kept home, I thought they should have put on the bench. It's a lot of decent players that went missing. And the Lucas Hernandez was a big deal. I'm going to tell you why. They had a plan, right? What I believe what they were trying to do is have Lucas Hernandez play because they had to switch. They had to switch everything up because Nkunku and Benzema, who were vital, because they were going to play with like a front three, basically, with Benzema and Mbappe up top, with Nkunku playing right behind him. And they were going to have maybe Theo Hernandez or his brother Lucas Hernandez play at that left wing back. It is what it is on that end. But because of those injuries, they had to switch. Oh, yeah, no Pogba, no Kante. Bruh, that's their midfield right there. I forgot. I completely forgot. That's literally their starting midfield. No Pogba, no Kante. They had to switch up everything, bro. They had a plan. They had a plan. They had to switch up the formation again, go back to 4 in the back. They weren't going to play 4 in the back. They were going to play 3 in the back with some wing backs. They were, man. And on top of that, what was going to happen is, what I believe, with Lucas Hernandez playing that left back position, that was so Mbappe can dominate that left-hand side without worrying about defense. because they were gonna have to play with one striker up top because there was no Benzema. So that was a big blow. With no Benzema, that was a big blow. So their plan, in my opinion, was to do that and then have Theo Hernandez come off the bench because you saw he didn't start in the first game. That was the plan, and to use Theo Hernandez coming in if they need help attacking wise. And after dealing with Mbappe on that left-hand side, then you add Theo Hernandez to the mix coming off the bench. Ooh, yeah, I'm just saying the wingbacks already had trouble with Mbappe. They couldn't stop him. Now imagine if they had to worry about Theo Hernandez coming off the bench, attacking that left-hand side at the left back position. Y'all would have been like they still made it all the way to the finals, bro. Where everybody was saying they was going to suffer from the World Cup curse. They still made it all the way to the finals. And people still wasn't giving Mbappe his credit. I was like, y'all some haters, bro. Just straight hating. And you see Mbappe in the finals, hat trick. I mean, what more does he have to do? What more does he have? He's already a World Cup winner. He was the best. Could have won the best player of the tournament in that World Cup, but ended up winning the youngest player of the World Cup. He was definitely the X factor. Definitely could have not won the World Cup without Mbappe in 2018. So that would have been, man, if he would have won that World Cup after that hat trick, after all France endured injury wise, that to me, I believe, solidified it. And I'm literally looking at the path, France's path, what they had to endure. That's why I believe Mbappe is still the best player in the world. And nothing has changed. People are still saying Messi's the best player in the world. I'm like, bro, Mbappe is still playing in Europe. Messi's playing in MLS right now for a reason. It is what it is, but I kind of went off there, but yeah, that's my FIFA Women's World Cup review.